Good evening, and welcome to WANA Live, the reading series of the Writers Association of Northern Appalachia. I'm your host, Damian Dressick, and this is your other host,
Christina Fasonic. Oh, look at this. It is 8:02, and it's nice to be broadcasting during daylight again.
It is. It's daylight again. They could name an album that.
What? Daylight again? Well, you have your beat shirt on over there. I'm waiting for you.
Hey, no, this is actually new. I picked this up yesterday.
Oh, that's your new shirt. Look at that.
It is, yeah.
Well, without any more small talk,
Speaking of new, we have a new writer tonight. Tell us about the new writer.
We do indeed. So Abigail Drake is on with us tonight, and she is the award-winning author of 21 novels. But she didn't start her career in writing. She majored in Japanese and economics in college and spent years traveling the world collecting stories wherever she visited. She collected a husband from Istanbul on her travels too, and he is her favorite souvenir, she says.
Okay, so it's 21 books, one husband.
Yes.
I want to keep the ratio.
Yeah, I have an opposite one. Anyways, she teaches in the writing and publishing program at Lincoln Park Performing Arts High School. In 2019, Abigail was awarded an honorable mention for her book, Love, Chocolate, and a Dog Named Al Capone in the Writer's Digest Self-Published Ebook Awards. She is the winner of the 2017 Prism Award for her book Traveler, the International Digital Award for her young adult novel Tiger Lily, and the Stiletto Contest for Love, Chocolate, and a Dog Named Al Capone. In addition, she was named a finalist in the Golden Pen, the Golden Leaf, the Dante Rossetti Book Award, and the Cygnus Award for Science Fiction and Speculative fiction. I'm exhausted from having read that. If you want to learn more about her, please visit her website, abigaildrake.net. So shall we bring her out?
I think it's a good idea.
All right. Hey!
Hello.
How are you tonight?
I'm great. I'm in the middle of the mountains right now. I'm in the Laurel Highlands on a writing retreat. So I'm very zen and very chill, and I'm just hoping the internet is good here.
So far, so good. I love the setting that you're in. Is it dark up there yet?
Yes, it is. It's just the sun just went down.
Oh man. Well, pretty soon it'll be 9 o'clock and it'll be sunny out. So
yeah, exactly.
So what are you going to read for us tonight?
I'm reading from my new book, and it's coming out April 11th. And it's called A Royal Pain, and it's a romantic comedy. It's about an impoverished socialite in New York City who accidentally saves the life of a visiting prince. She gets shot in the behind as she's doing it and ends up falling for his very handsome, grumpy bodyguard. So the part that I'm going to read is after she gets shot, when she's in the hospital recovering with her sister. And she has a little moral dilemma she has to face. So I'm going to read that.
This sounds really fun. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So Chloe's in the hospital. Her name's Chloe Burke, and her sister Ella is with her. I glanced at the television. The words Chloe Burke, an American hero, flashed across the bottom of the screen. This is ridiculous, I began, but Ella shushed me, her expression rapt, and her eyes glued to the television. Joe McNulty of Queens saw it happen, said the reporter as she handed the microphone to a dark-haired man with an impressive mustache. The redhead in the dirty white coat flew way up in the air to block the bullet, he said, shaking his head in disbelief. She saved his life for sure. She deserves a medal or something. She's a true hero in my book. I stared at the TV, stunned. I'm now a redhead in a dirty white coat? Are you kidding me? At least he didn't mention seeing your undies. Another guy went on and on about them in an earlier interview. He called you the purple panties lady. Hey, are you going to eat your lunch? She asked, nodding towards the food provided to me by the hospital, an unappetizing assortment of dry toast, Jell-O, and ginger ale. I passed it over to her, and she munched on the bread enthusiastically. But like Joel McNulty of Queens said, you're a hero, Chloe, she said between bites. That's the important part. You're famous. And guess what? We've had 10 calls already asking for interviews, paid interviews. Someone is even talking about a potential book offer. People are willing to give us a whole lot of money for the chance to speak with you. But I wanted to tell her the truth. I wasn't a hero. I hadn't saved anyone's life, not on purpose. Ella stopped the words in my throat and regarded me, her eyes filling with tears. They're offering you a lot, more than you could ever imagine. We'll be able to pay off some of Dad's medical bills, and we might even be able to get him into therapy. I'm sorry you got hurt, Sissy, but this could be the best thing to happen to us in a long time. Her words made me pause. Ella, my mini-me. Some people called her my clone. We had the same red hair, an inheritance from our mother, and the same green eyes, a gift from our father. We were both a little on the tall side, and while Ella was still a skinny teenager, she'd soon have my curvy figure as well. But there the similarities ended. Ella had grown into a person 1,000,000 times more sensible and mature than I'd been at her age. But she had to be. She didn't have a choice. My heart squeezed in my chest as I stared at her. She'd outgrown her school uniform again. The blouse stretched tight across her bosom, and the skirt hovered above the acceptable length on her thighs. She'd been sprouting like a weed, and I knew I'd get a call soon. The school administrators had insinuated she'd worn her skirt too short as an act of rebellion. They'd even given her detention once. They had no idea we couldn't afford to buy new uniforms, and we'd never tell them. We may have lost the Burke fortune, but we still had the Burke pride. It was the only thing keeping us going sometimes. I sighed as I pondered what to do. I knew I should tell the truth. I hadn't intended to save anyone's life. This morning, it had been a complete and utter accident, but when I saw the hope shining in Ella's eyes, something I hadn't seen there in such a long time, I made my decision. How much money are we talking about exactly? And that is from A Royal Pain.
Waiting for Dylan to come back up. There he is.
There he is.
Wow, I love the title, A Royal. It feels very
It's like a royal pain in the...
well,
got
where else
shot
would
in.
I have a royal pain? Fun stuff.
Yeah.
What
I've been writing a lot
inspired
of rom. I'm sorry, what did you say, Damien?
Oh, what inspired this story? Where did this come from?
Gosh, I originally wrote it as a novella for an anthology that I did for charity.
So it's
And,
largely
I was
autobiographical.
thinking about, it is. It's completely. No, I was thinking about how the media portrays people, and how some people, it seems, can do no wrong, and some people can do no right, and it's just a matter of how the media presents them. So I was toying with the idea of writing about a character who wasn't actually a hero, but everyone thought she was. And then no matter what she did, they still wanted to believe she was a hero. Until she finally, admits, I didn't do this on purpose. I'm not an actual hero. But even then, people still want to believe it. So
I love that concept. I'm constantly blown away by the number of titles you have written. And I know you've been at this a while, but 21 books is a lot. Is this number 22?
This is number 20. 21 is coming out in June. This one's coming out in April, and I'm working on 22 right now. My first book came out in January of 2016. So it's been 7 years.
That's a lot of writing in that period of time. I know that our audience is going to want to know this.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak briefly about how do you do it? What's your workflow like?
So are you off chained to your desk?
Yeah, I'm chained to the cafeteria table at the moment in the camp here. I think a lot of it has to do with discipline. I was writing full time for a few years. That helps as well. I had the luxury of that. But there were times where I really had to force myself to get into a rhythm to make sure I did the same sort of thing every day, making sure I wrote every day from this time until this time and then continued on. Usually, what I do is I tell myself I have to complete a scene a day, which doesn't seem quite as intimidating as a word count for me.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So as long as I write the scene, I'll wake up in the morning, decide what I'm going to write. I'll go for a walk or think about it. And then as soon as I write that scene, then anything after that is gravy. I've done what I had to do for the day. And if I keep writing, then it's like bonus scene.
That's so impressive.
So Damon and I were in
Thank you.
attendance at a presentation you gave at West Virginia Writers a few years ago that impressed both of us. You were talking about, I think, the difference between pantsers and people who are plotters who like to plot. And I think you said you were kind of a combo of both. So for those of you watching, pantsers are people who write by the seat of their pants. They sit down and whatever happens, fantastic. And plotters are people who are really like, this is going to happen in my book and this is going to happen. And I'm definitely somewhere in the middle. I got to have some idea, but the details are, up to what happens, what my characters tell me. So
yeah, I think it's a different journey with each book, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's whatever works best for you. Some people feel much more comfortable having an outline of everything. I like the idea of treating it like a GPS, like I know where I'm going to end up, but if I take a detour along the way, knowing where the ending is will get me back on the road I need to be on, if that makes sense. Other people have talked about it as driving as far as your headlights can see. Maybe they're all driving analogies for some reason when it comes to pantsing, but it seems that it really depends on the book. And I have been doing more plotting lately because even though it's more work up front, then the product it's done sooner and it involves less editing. Whereas if I would not plot, I'd have a lot more editing in the end because I'd have to rewrite some things to make it, line up and everything.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like people really have to experiment with that. And I definitely agree that every single book is a different experience. People think, oh, you wrote a book, but just write another one. But the next one is a big headache and a joy and all the things. Just like the last one was, just it has its own, issues.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman said that. He said when he wrote, I think it was American Gods in the forward or whatever to American Gods. Well, I guess it would be the intro. He said that he was so excited because he told his friend, I finally figured it out. I know how to write a book now. This is going to be so easy from now on. And his friend laughed and said, you know how to write this book. Yeah. You don't know what's going to happen with the next one. And you learn something with each book that you write.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I heard you teach.
Yes.
How does that inform your writing practice?
Well, it's interesting because I teach high school kids at a performing arts high school. It's called Lincoln Park, and it's close to my home. It's in Midland, Pennsylvania, which is close to the little panhandle of West Virginia. Not sure which city it's closest to there, but it's incredible because the kids are so talented and the classes are small and the kids want to be there. And the classes that I teach are they're special classes, they're for their major. So we don't have to do standardized testing and that sort of thing. Like it's a completely different thing than teaching in like a regular high school. And the kids are so cute, and they call me they call me by my first name, like I'm one of them, which makes me feel really good because they have accepted me as a fellow writer.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hopefully someday my ego will allow that. But at this moment, I'm Dr. Fasonic, and you can just forget about calling me anything else. But I love that. And it sounds like that when you're in that mode where you're creating that community of writers, then everybody wins.
Yes, yes. And it gives you the opportunity to mentor. I always think like in the olden days when there were apprentices that this is kind of your job when you're any kind of crafts person, when you're any kind of artist. It's your job to teach younger people what you've learned. And you're still learning all the time. And I'm learning things from these kids too. Things have changed in certain words, certain things, and they help me a lot as well. So it's kind of a mutual learning experience.
Right on. So where can people find Royal Pain?
It's going to be out April 11th. Right now, it's only on Amazon for the first few months. Then it'll be wide. It'll be everywhere.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on the show. And I know the next big thing I think for you and your group is Penn Writers is coming up, right?
Yes, conference coordinator. That's me.
And unfortunately, it's the same weekend as WANA's very first retreat. So we won't be there. Definitely would like to send people there who want to go to a conference. And we know it's in Pittsburgh, May 19th through the 21st, right at the Marriott.
Yes. And we do have the Pittsburgh Airport Marriott is the hotel where it's being held. We do have some West Virginia writers who will be there, and I'm very excited about that. Ashley Belote will be there. She does children's books and illustrations. Kathy Teets, who owns Headline Books. Yes. Elliot Parker. I don't know if you guys know Elliot Parker. Every time I mention his name, people say, "We love Elliot Parker."
One of the sweetest, nicest, friendliest guys.
Yeah, and also Sheila Redling and Toby Doyle will be there. So we have quite a nice group of West Virginia writers. Our neighbors from West Virginia.
Yes.
Very cool.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on, and enjoy the rest of your retreat.
Be productive.
Thank you.
All right.
Nice seeing you.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. And
Jamie,
please remember to.
You want to remind people about
I'm going to remind people that next week is the anniversary of WANA Live, and we're going to be celebrating with the one, the only, the inimitable Ron Rash. So please make sure you, if you're interested in seeing some wonderful, wonderful work, please tune in next Thursday at 8 o'clock.
Yes. We'll see everybody next week when we celebrate our 3rd birthday. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Abigail.